All right, everybody. I think it's time that we get started. It's 10:02 Central Time, so I don't think we should delay any longer. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This is the LG-Series Lock Grip Puller Introduction Webinar hosted by Enerpac. My name is Tim Kelliker. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for the Enerpac Americas, and I'm also here with Kurt Huber. Kurt is the Product Line Director for or Product Line Manager for our Tools COE, or Center of Excellence. Today we're going to be going through the lock grip pullers. The goal of this presentation is to really equip you with all of the information that you need to sell these pullers and make sure they're a success with our distribution and our customers. We're going to go through some features, benefits, some value propositions, and what our launch will look like. Just a couple of administrative things before we get started. All of the lines will be muted. We'll save questions to the end, or you can use the chat box that I'll be monitoring throughout the presentation, and we can answer those questions during the presentation. To get to that chat box, it's a little conversation icon on the screen, and then you can just type your question in there, and I'll try and get to it. With that, I will pass it over to Kurt Huber, and let's get started.
Thanks, Tim. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to be taking you through some slides here, and the purpose of this presentation is to introduce you to the portfolio and essentially tell you what we like about it and what our customers like about it and why people are going to want to buy this. Once we've done that, we'll look at some applications, some industries where these products are used, and we'll talk a bit about the launch plan. So those of you who have been with us for a while are probably familiar that we have multiple levels of product when it comes to pullers. We have at the base level our BHP pullers and our puller sets. And then in addition to our basic level, we have our sink grip pullers, which we launched about a year ago. The value add that those products bring over the basic line of pullers is that the legs move in a synchronous way, making it easier for one person to complete an application. We've also had a premium line that we've been selling, and it's been a good product for us, but we found some ways which we think that we can make that good product even better, and we think that you're going to really like this new product. So today we're introducing the box that you see to the far right, and that is the LG-Series pullers, lock grip pullers. This LG-Series lock grip puller portfolio is going to include, just like our current line does, both mechanical and hydraulic tools. So if you look to the far left of your screen there, you'll see we have 2- and 3-jaw mechanical tools. We'll also have 2- and 3-jaw hydraulic tools, which will feature a hollow cylinder. And then all the way to the right there on your screen, you'll see that we have a couple of different types of sets. One of these types of sets simply includes the hydraulic tool, hydraulic puller of your choice, along with an appropriate pump, gauge, and hose. And we have another new series of sets that are coming out, which are master puller sets. These master puller sets are designed to help customers perform applications where they have close clearance and are not able to use the puller itself to do the job. So why are these things so great? Why are people going to want to buy them and use them? I'd like to have you take a look at the screen if you can. You'll see 2 pictures, one on the left and one on the right, and you see 2 pullers. The puller on the left is the new puller, and the puller on the right is our current design. So if you see the puller on the left, you'll note that that puller is attached to a thick workpiece. Imagine that's your application. If you look to the puller to the right, you'll see that it's attached to a much thinner workpiece. The point here is that with this new design, you're able to take the equivalent size puller and attach it to a thicker workpiece. What that means for the customer is that he's going to be able to do more types of applications with thicker workpieces than is possible today, simply due to the geometry of the jaws. If you look at the way that the jaws are shaped on the tool to the left versus the one on the right, you'll note that they're simply wider at the top, and that helps me to get onto those applications. In addition to that feature, you'll notice if you look at the tool here, the one on the left versus the one on the right, the one on the left looks a bit simpler. It's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit easier to use, and so the tool on the left is going to be easier to mount onto the application and to perform that application versus the tool on the right. Another thing that we are really excited about is the feature of synchronous movement of the jaws. So if you remember a couple of slides ago, we talked about the Sync Grip Puller, which is a fairly new product that we offer, which offers synchronous movement of the jaws. These jaws are completely locked together. What that means for you, or what that means to the person who's performing the application, is it's really easy to mount onto the job and to control the tool while mounting and while performing the application, because those legs are not going to get misaligned. Okay? So it makes it easier for one person to mount the tool and to perform the application with no risk of misalignment of the jaws. Looking at our mechanical line, you'll see we have 8 SKUs here, and that includes both 2-jaw and 3-jaw varieties. These sizes go up to about 1 foot in spread, which means you can get onto an application which is about that thick. So bringing it all together, our mechanical lock grip tools, they're simply easier to use. You can use them on more applications. It's possible for one person to easily perform this operation because the legs aren't moving around or getting misaligned. And if you look to the top of the tool, you notice it also has a nice new handle, which makes it easier to close the legs down onto the application. Get more work done more quickly and more easily with these new lock grip mechanical pullers. That's what it's all about. These tools are used for simple, smaller work pieces, which are up to about 12 inches. Okay? So next we're going to talk about the hydraulic pullers. The hydraulic tools also feature 8 SKUs, and these tools, as you can imagine, feature all the same features and benefits as the other tools, but they have a reach that goes up to about 26 inches. Again, you've got the synchronous movements of the legs, helping to prevent misalignment. You've got the ease of operation. You've got the wide top jaws, which allow you to get on those thicker work pieces. So again, these tools are easier to use. It's possible to mount them onto thicker work pieces, and one person can easily mount them and perform the application without concern about misalignment of the jaws. In addition to these features, the hydraulic tools have the added feature, of course, that you're using a hollow hydraulic cylinder. So you don't have to worry about torquing these things down. That hydraulic cylinder is doing the work for you. And of course, what that means is the tool is easy to use on large applications that are up to 26 inches in diameter. A little bit to the nomenclature here. We wanted to make it really easy for a customer just to look at these tools and to know exactly what he was looking at. So if you look at the first digits in the nomenclature of the model number, you see LGM. That means lock grip mechanical puller. Okay? Next in the nomenclature, you'll see a number, 2 in this case. That means it has 2 jaws. And far to the right here, you'll see the tonnage capacity of the tool. Next, we have a slide on our lock grip hydraulic series puller sets. For those of you who have worked with us for a while, you might be familiar with the fact that we've offered puller sets in the past. What we've done here is expand our offering a little bit. So now a customer can purchase the puller of his choice along with the hose, the pump of his choice, and the appropriate gauge for that pump. And you'll notice here we have 4 different choices: hand pumps, air pumps, electric pumps, and cordless pumps. So this is a pretty significant expansion of our puller sets. Moving on here to our master sets. Those of you who are familiar with our basic line, our BHP line, or even our Sync Grip line might have had experience using or purchasing these master puller sets. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, see what comes in these master puller sets. We have a number of different accessories that are included, including cross pullers, bearing separators, and bearing cup pullers. What these accessories do is they work in tandem with a puller to help customers in applications where it's simply not possible due to close clearance issues to use the puller on the application. So moving on now to the nomenclature of the new sets, very similar to what we were looking at a little while ago. Here we have, in the far left, LGHS. It simply means lock grip hydraulic set. Then we have 3, that's the number of jaws. Then we have the puller tonnage capacity. Finally, the H there, that's an example of the pump type, so that would be a hand pump, okay? And then finally, we have the voltage indicated on the far right by either a V or an E, which is 115 volt and 230 volts respectively. Where are these things used? The short story is they're used by customers that we have now in industries that we have been serving all along. So look at oil and gas, shipbuilding, power gen, mining, really are meat and potatoes, standard vertical markets that we've been serving together for years. Looking into specific application examples, first of all, I want to just throw this out at you as some examples. However, these are only a few examples. These tools are used anywhere that you have press-fitted parts on a shaft. Okay, so the opportunity for these things exists in any vertical market you want to think of. But here are a few examples. If you look to the upper left here, you'll see a gentleman who's performing an application using a hydraulic setup, and he's performing that operation on a heavy production press in a manufacturing environment. If you look down to the lower left side of the screen, you'll see somebody that's using a smaller mechanical tool on an electric motor. Up on the right, you'll see another hydraulic setup. This is a larger tool, obviously, being used on a drive shaft of a fracking pump. So think oil and gas. Very common applications for these types of tools. And then on the bottom right here, you have somebody that's pulling off a bearing on a generator. So again, very common applications used in all industries, both mechanical and hydraulic tools, and essentially the question of which one to use is going to depend upon the size of the application. So, bringing this all together, we've got a new series of tools here which customers are going to like because they make their jobs easier to do, and they can get onto more applications more quickly and finish the job more quickly and more easily. So this slide provides an overview of the current portfolio to the new portfolio. So I would like you to look over the left side of the screen here. You'll see our mechanical tools. On the left column, you'll see the EP series tools, and on the right column, you'll see LGM. Those are simply mechanical tools. So again, thinking about that smart nomenclature, LGM, what does that mean? Lock, grip, mechanical tools, okay? Now, if you look all the way to the lower left of the screen, you'll see on the left, EPH series are being replaced with the lock, grip, hydraulic tools, but these are no cylinder varieties, okay? So we know that some customers like to purchase the tool and to use or to add their own cylinder. So these tools do not feature a cylinder. Lock, grip, hydraulic, no cylinder is what that NC stands for. Now if you look to the upper right side of the screen by the EPHR, those are now the LGH. So simply lock grip hydraulic tool. And what is that again? That's a hydraulic puller that comes complete with a hollow cylinder attached. And then on the lower right-hand side here, you see the various pump sets. What you don't see on the screen are the master puller sets, and the clear reason for that is that we simply haven't sold those with our premium line pullers in the past, so this is something new that we've added to our portfolio. There are a few sizes, specifically of the larger mechanical tools, which we have not updated to our new lock grip mechanical design. And the simple reason for that is that the tonnage on these tools is very, very high. And so when you look at performing an application with a puller that is up to 40 tons, you can imagine that that would be very difficult, and that would present some significant challenges in terms of providing that amount of force on a mechanical puller without the aid of a hydraulic cylinder. So we'd like to guide our customers to use hydraulic versions of these tools when they're working on those very large applications. However, we know that there are some customers that still will, at least for a while, resist that change, and so we want to make these large mechanicals available for those customers who are really keen on getting them in the short run. If it turns out that we see continuing demand in that area, we will work together and provide customers what they ask for, and so we're going to be monitoring and managing that one.
So thanks, Kurt, for the product overview. That was really good. Now I'm going to dive into more of what the launch will look like for the Americas region. And that launch will be coming up on November 30th. We're very excited to hit that date and excited to get these out in the market. So first things first, we'll look at the pricing. And for the vast majority of our products, we are going to target the exact same list price for the comparable pullers that we have out today. So we're going to make sure that we're trying to hit that target, and if we can't, it'll just be a small increase, but on the vast majority, over 80%, I think that we're going to hit the exact same price that we have today. Then in terms of these sets and then the master puller sets, those are going to be priced comparatively just slightly above our sink grip options, just because this falls into that best product category versus that sink grip puller is that better category. So we think that this is going to be a winning pricing strategy for us. So I think the next most important thing that we need to talk about is, since these pullers are replacing our EP and EPH pullers, we need to talk about how these products are being phased out of our product portfolio. So with the new LG-Series, we're looking at phasing out the EP and the EPH-Series pullers. And we've got some important dates down here for you. So in November, we're going to send out a notification to all of our distributors that starting on January 1st, that'll be effective January 1st, that there will be a 25% price increase on the EP and the EPH pullers. That will be for top-level puller products. So those are going to be the products that are listed in our catalog as the top-level product. This price increase is really about driving consumer behavior towards our new LG-Series, which have increased pulling capabilities over our other series. So we think with a better product that we should be just fine. And it's really the idea that if people really want these through Enerpac, they can still buy them, but they're going to pay a price premium on it. Going to the next date, November 30th is when we are going to launch our LG-Series lock grip pullers. That'll be an exciting day. We'll go live on our website and social media with all of those, and we'll make sure that all of our salespeople are equipped to get those to our customers as soon as possible. And that's when ordering will go live and we'll have product available. January 1st is when that price increase will take effect. And in that price increase, there's also going to be a 5% price increase to service parts and components. I will say that we are not going to be discontinuing these. We're going to continue to support our pullers that are out in the field and our customers that have those pullers, so our service centers will not be left high and dry with these pullers in their shop. The last date there is March 1st, where the EP and the EPH-Series pullers will be discontinued from the Enerpac product line. And then the last note on the page, these changes and this phase-out will not affect the EPH-Series 100-ton hydraulic grip pullers. Those will continue to be provided by Enerpac, and we're happy to provide that really high-tonnage solution for those biggest jobs. So I mentioned on November 30th, we will have product in stock. So these lock grip mechanical series pullers are going to be available on the shelf in our facility in Columbus, Wisconsin by November 30th. We'll actually have them slightly before then, but definitely by November 30th. Then the LGH-Series and in addition, the sets and the master puller sets, those will be on the shelf in Columbus, Wisconsin by mid-December. But all of those part numbers will be set up on our system and will be available to order prior to that. So there's always that option to expedite orders if you have them, where you can just talk with your customer support rep, or your Enerpac territory manager to make that happen. In terms of the Marcom materials and sales tools that we'll be providing for this launch, there's a wide variety of them. So we have the technical brochure, which will have all of the features and specs and a lot of the information that is required to make sure that these pullers can accomplish the job. But we'll also have a one-page spec sheet, just a quick and easy introduction to the puller line, a sell sheet that will be available to our distributors, which will say, these are the features and benefits, this is where we can sell them and where we'll be successful, this is where it fits inside the Enerpac product line, and then where it fits in terms of the competitive landscape of all the other pullers out in the market. We'll be distributing this training presentation, and then we'll also provide price list supplements and product bulletins just to make sure that we can facilitate this phase out of the EPH and the EP product line, and also introduce these LG-Series lock grip pullers into our customers' product line, and make sure you get up on those websites as well. So with that, that's the end of our presentation. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and thanks Kurt for giving a really good overview of the tool. We're excited to launch this new line of pullers with increased pulling capacity from our old line. We really think it's a good solution for our customers. The initial feedback that we've gotten from the field has been great. Really, we're excited to get these out into the field on November 30th, 2018. Now with that, that is all we have for our formal presentation, but if you would like to stick around for questions, I'm going to unmute the lines and, just speak out.
The conference has been unmuted.
But that is all we have, so if there's no questions, feel free to go about your day. Thank you very much for joining.